This is show 72 of the Cloth Diaper Podcast with Danielle. Danielle is an Instagram mom who's going to share her story of cloth diapering, her cloth diaper course, and how she used reusable postpartum products during that postpartum period. The Cloth Diaper Podcast is a somewhat regular show dedicated to sharing stories of cloth diapering. I connect with parents, brands, and retailers from around the world to share their cloth diaper experiences, stories, and perspectives. I hope that through sharing a wide array of experiences and cloth diaper stories that we can better learn and appreciate how unique and diverse the cloth diaper community is. My name is Bailey. I am the host of the Cloth Diaper Podcast. I am a mom of two, and I live in northern British Columbia in Canada. I host the Cloth Diaper Podcast because I believe that stories are important, as we kind of alluded to earlier. I'm a cloth diaper educator and content creator and author of Cloth Diapers, The Guide to Textiles, Washing, and More. I help brands and bloggers and more kind of figure out their cloth diaper journey, and I continue to stay in this cloth diaper space well past potty training because I want to continue to support and encourage more stories. It takes a lot of work to publish a podcast every week, and I know that we don't all have time for that. I really enjoy continuing to do this, and I am very grateful for your support, and I am even more grateful that I get to bring stories like this to you. Danielle is a cloth diaper creator on the web, and you're going to learn more about her story in the next little segment, so let's avoid beating to the punch, and we'll wrap up in the end. Who are you? What are you? Where do you live? Your mom.
Sounds good. Yeah, I'm Danielle. I started my Instagram, The Green Mama, just to kind of promote, holistic living, healthy living, and one of those being, sustainability and my passion for cloth diapering.
Mm-hmm.
I have two little ones. My older son is 3, and Judah here is, he's 10 weeks.
Oh, wow.
So,
He's
little
so
he's
still.
really little. And so I am just kind of right now, just trying to get by.
Yeah. With 2, are they both in diapers right now?
Eden, my older son, is out of diapers, fortunately.
Oh, nice.
I did kind of a combo of, elimination communication with my cloth diapering. So I feel like the 2 of those really helped steamroll the process. So I got him potty trained by his 2nd birthday, which was awesome. Yeah. I mean, we did, nighttime diapers for a while, and then, just kind of pulled it from there and did the best that we could to get rid of those. And it's been pretty good so far. It's really nice not having, to worry about someone else's bladder functions. Yes, absolutely. And it was a slow process of just really taking our time to eliminate diaper time. Mm-hmm. And that nighttime one is one that you just have to
there's not much you can do about the nighttime one. That's just
have to go for it.
Waiting for them to be physically, emotionally ready.
Exactly.
So why did you start cloth diapering? Let's roll it back. What is your 3 years ago? Why did you decide to cloth diaper with your first son? Yeah.
So I knew that I wanted to do whatever I could for the earth, mm-hmm. Whatever I could to lessen my trash. And I knew I wanted to do it. And then I had a lot of support because I had my mom who cloth diapered me. Mm-hmm. So that made a big difference in my ability, I think, to say this is possible. I can do this. And so it kind of just started. I got really obsessive with researching it during my pregnancy. I was living at my parents' house at the time. So I think my nesting of not being able to make a nursery turned into,
research and development.
so much research. Yeah. So I just did a crazy amount of research. And the more I researched it, the more I was okay, I've got to do this. This is going to be something I have to do.
So your parents, your mom cloth diapered, it was just kind of what was going to happen. And you crazy researched it. Did you learn about EC back then 3 years ago? How did elimination communication work into your story and into your cloth diaper journey? I'm nosy on that one.
Yeah. So I was in a mom's group there was a woman asking about cloth diapering, and, I was jumped on that, oh, I'm here to help you. Anyone that wants to talk about, cloth diapering, you just are all over it. So I I commented on it, and then another woman commented and was like, you should look into elimination communication. And the first time I read it, I was like, that's a lazy, like,
yeah,
come
I can
on.
remember
Like,
thinking it too.
Yeah. Like that's a little intense. And she didn't get any feedback on it. And I was like, yeah, that was a big suggestion there. And then I spent some time kind of looking into it, and I was like, oh, it's not really as crazy as I was thinking. You're just really like watching your child and being absorbed in their signs and their routines. And I feel like with being a cloth diapering parent, you are a little bit more in tune in some ways. Just to my reason that I felt like that was like, I didn't want my diaper to leak and ruin our outfit for the day. So I felt like I was always like a little more in tune, like, okay, changing my diapers more than other parents. I noticed a lot of that. So anyways, back to elimination. I just figured I'm going to try it. So when he would do older son would do the signs of like, I have to go number 2, I would just put him on the potty. Mm-hmm. And we started doing that at like 6 months. And it was really easy just to do that one thing, like poopy face on the potty. Pee was a little harder. But I started following this woman who was like, that's her full career now. And I just started trying to do as much as I could. And then I think I'm going to try to start a little earlier with him and see how it goes. We'll see. Maybe I can be out of diapers even sooner. I mean, that's like, it's kind of a struggle because putting the diapers away is hard.
Yeah, it is hard. It is hard on both ends.
Yeah.
When I started cloth diapering like 5 years ago, it definitely was not a conversation. And you're seeing more and more people suggesting it, recommending it. And it's so interesting. And it definitely gets picked up, I think, by the cloth diapering community. My son was so sensitive to peeing. So that's why I'm always curious about it. Cause like anytime he peed, he would get cranky and I'd have to change his diaper right away. So I would go through so many diapers, and it's like, maybe that would have been a great thing for our dynamic in our household. Right.
Yep. Totally. That's like this one too. Pee. Like, I'm like, he's wet because he does not want to be wet.
No, he doesn't want to be wet. He doesn't want to be wet in a disposable. Like he just didn't like being wet. It didn't matter. Yeah. I was like, oh, I wonder if this would have helped. And so elimination communication is definitely less weird. Mm-hmm. And it's not as extremist as you think it is either.
Absolutely.
A lot of did you do like a hybrid model of embracing it in your family?
Yeah. Yeah. I just did super, super basic with it. Like just when I thought he was in a poop, I'd put him on the potty, and that was it. And the more I researched it, the more I was like, okay, when he gets a little older, or even I could now if I wanted to, but having potties in rooms, and just like every time you take off the diaper, have a routine of just like put on the potty. She recommended making a noise, like, or whatever your thing is. So I was like, I think I'm going to incorporate that a little bit more at home. Rather than on the go is a little tough, but just at home, if I could try to like get into an earlier routine of it.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. That's so cool. And I came across that in your feed when I was scrolling. You were talking about Go Diaper Free. And she's a great resource on
absolutely
elimination communication.
All free. I mean, she has so much free information beyond like she has a course and stuff, but so much free information. Yeah.
What did your stash look like? What do you cloth diaper with? What kind of diapers did you get drawn to, and what works for your family?
So getting started and literally knowing no one, I mean, that did it too, to ask questions to, my mom did like, the pens on us, and, she used a cloth diaper service, which is actually still around in my area. It's crazy. I can't believe they're still thriving. It's amazing. So she didn't really know anything about all the new lingo. So I did a lot of research and just started buying like one of every kind. And I almost feel like it's kind of like a rabbit hole of like, it's cool now because I know, but like this, trying this brand. And what I ended up really liking was, Fuzzy Buns, which I think they're out of business. And I like attacked their website when they were going out, which was sad because I really liked their they're like, they had like special sizes. So they had like a small, you know, instead of like a one size, they had a small, a medium, large, extra large, etc. And it's interesting because I asked my husband, I was like, what is of our stash? What's your favorite? And he's like, I really like these ones. He doesn't know the name of anything, but I really like these ones. And they just have a snap on the bottom and the top, and they called them perfect sizes. And, we both really liked those for some reason. Now they never had like prints and stuff that I was really in love with. I really liked Nora Nursery's. I like all of her aesthetic.
Oh yeah. She's got a great aesthetic.
Yeah. Really cute. If I could afford buying more, I'd be really interested in trying, like, I think it's Grovia, but the Butta.
The Buttas. Yeah. The soft.
Like those look dreamy. I would love that. But I have a little bit of everything. I have some Grovia. I have Bum Genius that I got from Target gift cards online.
It's so funny to hear you talk about size diapers. It was just like such a throwback because they're not really, I don't think that anybody's really like filled in Fuzzy Bun's niche on the small, medium, large sizing. Okay. We can see like the size 1 and size 2, but we definitely don't see those size. So it's just like, it's hilarious because I don't know if I've met many people who have experienced that kind of system, let alone enjoy it. So yeah, everything is a little different for every family.
Absolutely. I don't know if they are something that we love just because they're so simple to put on or what it was, but it is like, now that they're gone, I can't really recommend, I can't recommend it or talk about it. Cause like you said, I don't think it's no, I don't know. I'm like trying to think about who would you recommend instead. And I can't, there's nothing that's quite like a Fuzzy Buns. And she had a patent and she was like one of the OGs to this industry. So I know I saw her on Shark Tank and I was like, oh my gosh, I have to record this episode. And now she's gone and it's so sad. And I try to say that, like, promote that with like, because I do a cloth diapering class. Yeah. I started them at my midwifery where I had my first son, and so I teach an essential oil class there, and all the moms somehow it would come up, and I was like, wow, there's a lot of people who really want to do this but don't have any resource. So I started doing a class there, and it was really cool to see how many people want to do it. They just didn't have the support. And I found you early on in my journey of this. And what I really liked about your page which is what I kind of share in my classes, is like, this is not one size fits all. And it's about figuring it out for you and your family. So I was just really excited to see your approach on that, because it's a trippy little world out there with cloth diapering.
Yeah, it's changed so much. So, okay. Talk to me about your courses. So you've partnered with a midwife in town to support.
Yes. So like a whole midwifery, it's in Long Beach, California. And so, basically it's a class for the public. So anyone could come, and, before this they were in person, because my thing with wanting to do this was like, I just wanted to touch a diaper. Like I wanted to see one in my hands and touch it, but I could not find any stores that had them. Like it was all online and it was all reviews. And then you would find a style, and then you would review it, and then you'd find, a version and a brand. And it was like, you could, like there's so much information. So,
somebody's got just a package the other day to review, and I'm like, it's so much information.
It's so much information
to try to like put out there and simplify it. But a theme that's really come up, I think, in the last few recordings that I've done has been to like go back to some guerrilla marketing, some grassroots marketing with cloth diapering. And so that's why I'm curious. So did you just like approach somebody, or did someone approach you? And doing your course, like, I think it's so fantastic that you're just like, and a reminder that we're all experts. Like, you don't have to be anybody special. Not that you aren't special, but like, you don't have, there's no course or training that says like you have to do first before you can teach a course on cloth diapering. You can just be like, hey, I know this. Yeah. Can I help you out? Right.
Totally. Yes. So I had these moms coming and talking about it. my other class there, and I just was like thinking about it. And I wanted to pitch it, but I was a little nervous. And finally I just, I built a relationship with them over time. So I finally just pitched the idea like, hey, would you, I just think this would work in with what you're offering. What are your thoughts on that? And, she came back right away, was like, I love it. That's great. Let's do it. So, I started out doing it really cheap. I mean, $15 a class. After doing it a couple of times and spending, it's like, I'm trying to get as much information as I can. It's usually about 2 hours. And after 2 hours, I was like, okay, this was like, I'm spending a lot of time here. So I upped my price a little bit, and not even that much, to $30 for the class, which really isn't that much if I'm thinking back when I was wanting help, and my big thing was like, I just want moms to be able to touch these diapers and feel them and see them and have that experience, because I wanted that so badly. And they won't be stuck buying like one of every type of diaper and then figuring out what they like. So, I pitched it, and they were into it, and it's been really good. I'm surprised. Like, there's constantly a flux of moms coming in, and they post it on their bulletin board, and the moms are like, hey, I want to try this. And my big thing is I always am like, I'm here for you after. Like, you're going to start this and it's going to be crazy. Just call me after, like, don't be afraid to talk to me after. And I was really hopeful that, I could put you as a resource, like your book, especially, because it sounds like we have similar viewpoints of cloth diapering.
I love that. Like, you're doing this like little course, and I feel like I should pick your brain. I might have to send you an email. Maybe we can like do a little guest post about like how you've done it and how maybe a mom could pitch it to another midwife across the country as something super grassrootsy, because there's something about local moms connecting to local moms. Like, as much as I love being a resource around the world, I love it when people are able to like forge. I'm getting tapped out. I'm getting burnt out. Like, I'm only one person, and there's so many questions and emails. And that's what we can do as a community, is we can all support each other in our own little communities and get things kind of going. When I talked with Alscabar, she calls them blegrams. They have blegrams. I'm saying that totally wrong, but they're like, they're little, like, they come for tea, and they have like a little meeting with other moms, and they show diapers, and it's kind of like the same idea. You can do courses, and you can do casual things. I know like a pandemic though has really like impacted how we do things, but it's fantastic.
It's changed a lot. Yeah. I've been doing them online, and they are fine. Like, it's nice to do them online because then more people can come from all over, but that missing piece of like touching,
getting to like actually understand an elastic, or I can kind of show it online, but okay. So I also have on here is I wanted one question that I've been talking about in my stories this week, but I was talking about postpartum, or I was talking about cloth pads, and I saw on your Instagram that you use cloth pads of postpartum.
Yes.
You talk to me about that experience. Why did you choose to use cloth pads postpartum, and how did that work for you? I had a lot of questions about that.
Yeah, I was watching yours, very into it. So I can't honestly tell you where it all started, but I think that I must have saw someone, mention it and thought like, oh, I want to try that out. And postpartum, those pads, they disposable pads, they drove me crazy. It was so hard for me.
They're like itchy.
So itchy and sticky. Like, I just felt like I was constantly getting sticky, like the sticker pad. And I just was like this, and I went through so many, and I'm over here washing my diapers, and I was like, there has to be something different. And once I bought a pack of Charlie bananas, and I was like, these are amazing. Oh my gosh. And doing cloth diapers, it's so easy. Like, I throw them in my cloth diaper bag. Like, there's no extra effort. So I started buying some more, and I was like, what I really liked about your stories was that I made the mistake of I bought some on Etsy, and they didn't have the pole on the bottom. And I was like, oh my gosh, what is going on with this? Like, this is not working. And I was like, it took me a while to figure out like, oh, there's something missing here. Like it's just fabric, it's like fabric on fabric.
I mean, some people who have lighter flows, I guess, or maybe their flow is a little different, I guess, have success, but I really need the pull or a fleece layer or something in there that like is water penetrant.
Absolutely.
Doesn't soak through.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I really I wanted to support an Etsy mom, but there was like the quality of my Charlie Banana ones. I was like, they just don't.
Oh, that's interesting. I'll have to check those out. Actually, I did a recording with Gail from Charlie Banana, and she was talking about that product lineup. You'll have to listen. It came about kind of naturally, and she was saying the fun thing about pads or cloth pad lineup is that a lot of moms are introducing them to their young girls who are then like having babies now and starting to be curious about cloth. And it's like this beautiful cycle. I saw you creating postpartum padsicles though with cloth, which obvious, but I also didn't. It's one of those moments that you were like, of course you could do that. Tell me about your postpartum padsicles. Yeah. Let's share that knowledge with somebody.
Yeah. So that was part of the postpartum game, was like realizing how amazing those were. I was like, this time around, I was like, I think I can do it with all of my cloth pads. And so basically I just do a mixture of witch hazel, and you could do like a little bit of aloe vera. I like if I have a plant handy, I would like to do that, but I just always feel, I don't know, I haven't found a good like aloe vera. Then I do a little bit of lavender essential oil and frankincense essential oil and mix it all in, and then just pour it all over and freeze them in a bowl. So the bowl kind of creates that shape for you.
Good tip.
Yes. Because without that, you're like opening them and they're like really rigid. And what I learned with those too, if you don't have that pull, you get really wet. Like, they're leaking. They're leak because you're feeling them with moisture. So I had my like Etsy ones on there, and I was just like sitting on the couch. They was sitting on the couch, and I like had a puddle, and I was like, what is that? What is that? No. And then I realized like, okay, I need to make sure I'm using like my quality ones with a liner of some sort. And it was just so simple. Like it was seriously so simple. I had disposable pads that my midwives left me. I went through those with, using my cloth pads. And then I never bought any. That whole postpartum experience where I felt like I spent so much money with my first and was so uncomfortable and hated them. And I kept trying different ones and I couldn't find what I liked. And it was a game changer. And I have a whole slide on them in my classes, and I bring them to my classes because it's another thing. You just have to see it and know that it's like.
And well, if you're cloth diapering from newborn days, like you're already doing the same load of laundry. You're doing it. You might as well you're doing it.
Make the little, and it's a little bit of an investment, but just make the little investment, and then you have them forever. And I have enough now that it's like every period I go through them all, wash them, and they're ready for the next cycle.
Yeah. I don't have to worry about the store, which was something that always panicked me. And now I guess in a pandemic would be also panicky. Like there were periods over the course of the year where like we weren't really going to the stores at all. And it was just nice. Things that were just nice to have. You didn't
so
even
nice to not be worried about any of that.
Not worry about, and they last forever. Like I have my oldest ones are like 10 and they're maybe starting to kind of finally start looking like they might like, maybe I shouldn't use them. I mean, I do still use them because they're just cloth and you're just catching period blood.
Yeah, there's no reason they need to be fancy. Just got to be good. Yeah.
You have been such like a wealth of information. It's so cool to see what other cloth diaper parents are doing. Where can people find you? I was just snooping your Instagram and you have so much incredible information here. Like if you guys go find her Instagram and you keep scrolling, there's so much.
Thank you. Yeah. So that's what I've been building first. And I'm working on a website. I created it, and it's something I'm like taking my time with, especially being like a new mom again. But, I'm hopeful.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'm hopeful to like have all that information in one place too, where I can expand on it and, like provide a little bit more than just an Instagram post. That's the hope. But,
cool.
Yeah, for now, Instagram's my go.
At the Green Mama, right?
MAMMA.
Okay. Yes. So MAMMA, which is why I was trying to find you the other day and I was struggling. And it's because I didn't put enough M's. And hopefully Danielle will one day have a blog where we can find your information live when it comes. Well, it was so great chatting with you. My conversation with Danielle really has inspired me to consider how we can all do more grassroots cloth diaper education. I think we have an incredible diverse group of women who could have the potential to offer more courses and one-to-one support. We kind of talked about that last week or the week prior with Megan in the interview with Milwaukee Diaper Mission, but there is so much important work that can be done within our communities on such a local scale. And I look forward to hearing more about how you're doing that and other stories. If you want to be on the Cloth Diaper Podcast, give me a email, bailey@clothdiaperpodcast.com, and find the Cloth Diaper Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and give us a follow so you can stay in the loop about the latest on cloth diapers.